Hello again, and thanks for staying with us. So, Statistics South Africa has encouraged every person within the borders of this country to take part in the 4th national census. But the LGBTIQ+ community has accused Stats SA of failing to meaningfully include transgender people. The current census questionnaire does not include questions, for instance, on sexual orientation. Neither does it provide categories for intersex people. Non-government organization Iranti says it's unacceptable that a significant part of the population has been excluded. Its programs manager is Ntuthuzo Ndzomo, who joins us now via our video link. And Ntuthuzo, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks so much for making time. You know, part of the concerns that have been raised here is that, you know, there aren't any questions that effectively measure the queer community. What does that mean for people who don't understand what you're actually alluding to?
Thank you for having me on your show. One of the biggest concerns that we have comes from the form that was distributed last week by Stats SA on how they were going to document people living in South Africa. And the point that we raised with Stats SA and have made it publicly known was the issue that, you know, they used the term sex, which basically identifies individuals as only being male and female. And we felt as if that's quite restrictive to the current realities of South Africa. And it excludes members of the LGBTQI+ community, those who are transgender and those who are intersex, and even those who don't fall into those two categories, which are male and female, who are non-binary. And we've called for Stats SA to actually review that, because one of the most important things about census is not only to produce a total count of the population, but the data collected during a census is used also for planning, policy formulation, evidence-based decision-making. And with the recent conversations that we've been having with the Department of Justice and the Department of Home Affairs, we felt as if this is a step backwards towards the realization of legal gender recognition for members of the LGBTQI+ community.
Yeah, and of course we also know that the data that comes from the census is used in some instances for the allocation of resources, so if there's any erasure that takes place, it's easy to see why it's problematic. However, I want us to also distinguish between sex and sexual orientation. My understanding is that the latter is also not captured in the questionnaire. But how do we, I guess, push for that to happen without forcing people to either come out when they don't want to or to lie on the questionnaire?
Look, for some time now, there's been discussions within different government departments that have been taking place, and they've realized that, you know, sex and gender are two separate things, and they need to actually be defined quite separately, but at the same time given the same attention. It's not an issue of making people come out, but it's an issue of making sure that you understand that. And we've had several strides with certain departments in South Africa that they have realized the importance of, you know, of understanding the two and their separation, and why it's important for us to realize why gender is also important.
Yeah, you know, the concern, of course, is that the census, according to my understanding, is meant to start, if not today, sometime this week. The question becomes, how do we rectify this in a context where, you know, I imagine it's all systems go?
Yeah, we did actually have a conversation with Stats SA. They actually started yesterday on the 1st of February, and they've indicated to us that there's going to be a public engagement process after they've finalized the counting. But also the other concern for us, this is going to be like, you know, something that's going to be used for the next 10 years to decide on policy and also making amendments to some of the policies that exist in South Africa. And if it's not a true representation of the reality of many of the LGBTQI+ community, it becomes of significant concern for us, and that's why we felt as if it is important for us to raise the fact that, you know, it seems as if there's like a complete erasure of the experiences of the trans and intersex community and individuals that are non-binary. in the current form which they've shared with us and also with the media.
Yeah, an important story this, and hopefully the next time we'll speak, you'll have some good news about how this has been rectified. For now, thanks very much indeed for your time and laying out these issues for us. That is Ntuthuzo Ndzomo, who is the Programs Manager for non-governmental organization Iranti.